tolerance level of inflation, which can be as a moderate one. In India, RBI is the controlling authority for the purpose of inflation. The monetary policy is decided by the Reserve Bank of India, not the Government of India. The Government of India decides only the fiscal policy, whereas the monetary policy is being decided by the Reserve Bank of India. The Reserve Bank is the authority who decides pricing side. So based upon that, the Reserve Bank of India comes out with the CPI, how the inflation is going to be. At present, there is a band as per the RBI. It should range between 4% to 6%. But modern, when you call about what should be the real one, the tolerance level, it should be around 2%. Worldwide, it is 2%. Some of the states having even less than 2%. Some of the states, some of the even country having less than 2%. The presently, because of the two impact, one is Ukraine war, which is impacting everybody. The whole world is being impacted. Price rise is coming on account of the oil is being controlled by OPEC. So based upon that, the pricing is decided, because India don't have any control over the oil part. Because of that, we are all impacted. When the barrel per barrel is going up, your oil prices is also going up, petrol prices is also going up, which is ultimately impacting the road side. Your petrol prices are going up, diesel prices are going up, resulting into ultimately the pass on to us. This is resulting into increase in all the prices across, because petroleum product is being increased, resulting into increase in the consumer price, and the consumer price is being increased. As of today, we are having around 7% inflation. As of today, if you see 7% inflation, whereas the RBI has fixed it around 4% to 6%. Tolerance level is 6%, cannot go, but presently it is higher in this particular quarter. It is expected that the next sometimes now it is already started easing out, so it should be below 6%. Ideally, it should be, which is a forecasted, it should be around 4%. If it is a 4%, probably the prices also will come down. That will be announced. Now RBI there is a price committee. The PMC, it is called Price Implementation Committee. Now that committee takes into account the various factors which is available. Based on that, every quarter there is a announcement by the RBI, and fixed accordingly the interest rate and all other pricing are being decided. Based on that, they will be able to forecasting. So as of today, the forecast for whole year is the pricing should be between the inflation should be 4% to 6%. It cannot go more than that. Now it has gone around 7.5%. So that is where the control is. Monetary policy is being, the interest rate is being hiked. You must have seen the interest rate has gone. When we are talking interest rate, which is being on when interest rate is not a normal interest rate. I am talking about interest rates which we pay. Like Reserve Bank is fixing the Reserve Bank price, interest rate is around 4%. You go to the bank, you can ask that what is the rate of interest. Nobody will give it 4% any loan. So the rate of interest is a bank rate. When it is a bank rate, then based upon that, the other rates are being, now presently all our rates in the RBI is being fixed based upon the bank rate. Bank rate over a period, bank rate plus risk factor including inflation is also included. Based upon that, the rate of interest is fixed by each bank separately as of today. So if you go to the Bank of Baroda, their rate of interest will be different. You go to the Axis Bank, their rate of interest will be different, because pricing is different. Their rate of interest on the deposit side is different. Then when the loan component comes, there is also difference. So when the pricing is decided, it is depend upon 2-3 factors. One is a risk factor. So there is a risk factor which is loaded along with the 4+. So bank rate is 4%. So it is a 4% plus 2.5% plus 1.5%. There is a different factor is loaded back, and therefore that today the effective rate when you borrow money, when you go to the bank, borrow money, it will not be less than 8%. This is how it is. Many factors fix. This is all causing lot of concern to ultimately, even if I borrow at 7.5%, I load my profit margin. So I am going to sell my product at what level? Because my all the cost of my input cost has gone up. My interest has gone up. Material, there is a material inflation also. So it is not only the inflation affecting the individuals, it is the industry also get impacted. So there is a material inflation also. There is one kind of inflation in the material. So all this impact your input cost. When input cost is increasing, your ultimately selling price is going to be high, because the profit margin is also manufacturer profit margin is also included there. Based upon that, your pricing is fixed. MRP, when you see the MRP consists of many of the, when we go to market, you cannot charge more than MRP, that is the retail side. Now how the MRP is fixed on the basis of these factors: input cost, actual cost, labor cost, all those costs is included and the MRP is fixed. The profit margin is also, you cannot also have more, unexpected profit also you cannot have. So there is a control on the profitability side also. You cannot have large profit in any of the products. So when you go for the fixing the pricing MRP, many factors are taken into account while fixing the pricing. So this is basically deciding your inflation. So if it is inflation is as of today 7.5 and your bank rate is say 4%, still you are below inflation rate. So this gives two types of things. One is inflation is high, then your pricing is high, your input cost is going to be high, and your pricing is also going to be high. Most sufferer is a pensioner. Now as of today, if you see the deposit rates, as of today 3.5% saving bank account in some bank is even 2%. Fixed deposit rate for 1 year is only 4%. Now your inflation cost is 7.5%. Your deposit when you are putting in the bank is only 3.5%, 4%. Then balance you are putting a negative, na?
Right.
So you are, as of today, you are a negative. If you minus the inflation cost, it becomes a negative one. So you are not earning anything. On the contrary, instead of earning, you are going for the loss. And therefore, don't compare your stock market today. The inflation is not impacting the stock market, because that commodity market and stock market is absolutely different. So you can't compare the stock market where the price is going. Somebody was talking now stock market. I wanted to have some slide. Even stock market is going to touch more than 1 lakh. This is a discussion which has taken place, and one of the leading brokers of India, he has pleaded that we are going to cross 1 lakh BSE index, and your 25,000 rupees is benchmark for NSE. Those are all speculative things, we cannot, but as of today, you are having those who are depending upon the saving, like we retired people. We are not earning anything. On the contrary, we are at loss. Therefore, we are all tempted to go for the different type of stock market where we can have, but everybody has tend to lose. As of today, I have not at least earned anything. So I always keep my money in the saving bank account. Safest. Anytime I can just liquidate. Rest of the things are other saving bank instrument. Those who are also, as of today, maximum highest rate of interest in the saving, in that fixed deposit is only maximum is 6%. And the senior citizen gets around 0.5% more. 0.5%, 50 basis point. Almost it is, in some bank it is 25 basis point higher. Majority of the bank it is 50 basis point higher if you are above 60 years. So this is what, so we are all part of impacted the inflationary trend which is available in the country, and we must understand that government is also now fixing the petroleum price is the government job. You can't now subsidy, almost every area there is subsidy is removed. Subsidy is what cost? Ultimately it is our money where the subsidy is being provided. There are a lot of other government the schemes which are being implemented, getting implemented. It is also our money. Road is being constructed, it is our money. So as of today, we are in fact using those services, but at the same time for our own benefit, for our own survival, our source is only one source, is the saving rate, where I am getting hit by inflation. So that's why if it is a moderate inflation, that is a 2% to 4% between, is tolerable worldwide. If it is there, and that is what the India is trying to work on this, to keep it the inflation between 2% to 4%. If it is there, probably we may be able to earn something, otherwise we stand to lose. But at the same time, inflation is necessary for the growth purposes. Today, if you want to have growth, inflation is similarly necessary, otherwise you will not be able to generate new avenues, new income. So inflation is also necessary to for the purpose of growth. Today we are talking about a growth of almost, we want to reach the 10 trillion economy by 2030 and 5 trillion economy by 2025-26. 2 years has gone. Otherwise the target was by 24 we should be in a position to have our economy around 5 trillion. We are presently at about 3.8 GDP, our 3.8 trillion economy, we are there. We wanted to reach, that is what the government of India and Honorable Prime Minister has fixed it, 5 trillion economy by 25-26, now 1 year delay, and by 2030, 10 trillion economy. We will be in a position to achieve that. It is possible to do it, provided my GDP growth rate is around more than 8.5%. And that will come through a process of growth which is projected. A lot of money is required to be spent in terms of infrastructure creation. Now all big projects are being implemented, like project like bullet train project, or almost your from Sewri to airport. A lot of things are happening. You will see the Mumbai transformation after 25, because once all your roads, the coastal road and other roads are constructed and metro is put into service, then you will see the real growth and real enjoyment you will see in 2025, thereafter. Till such time, we are all suffering. There is every nook and corner, there is a digging has happened in Mumbai. It is not only in Mumbai, every part of the the India, this is situation in the all metros as of today. You go to Hyderabad, you have seen the Bangalore every day watching TV. What is the position? This is worse than even Mumbai. So probably the planning which has been made to create the infrastructure, probably by 25-26 will be one of the city, Mumbai particularly, Mumbai city will be one of the best city to live in, and that is how there is a hope. So now this money has to come from somewhere. The money has to come through the tax or borrowing. Now taking a loan for the bullet train is almost 1 lakh crore. That is a Japanese money is coming. Now Japanese money is, that is what people are saying, it is 1%. Now nobody knows that 1% is a repayment, interest and the repayment. When you will repay, the transaction is that probably it may be repaid in rupee, not in the foreign currency. That is what this is called the masala bond. This is called government is raising masala bond to fund that, and partly it is coming by way of loan from the Japanese fund is coming up. So interest rate is 1. That is what, because in Japan the interest rate is minus. It is minus.
I think it is 0.1, not 1.
No, it is a minus.
No.
The loan interest rate.
Loan which we are taking from Japan.
1%.
It is not 1%. I think it is 0.1.
That is what
I have read.
maybe 1%. But this is a fact, because the Japanese can afford to even earn 0.1.
Yes.
Because presently to keep money, Japanese has to pay from their own pocket. If you want to walk into bank, you have to pay for the bank. If you want to walk in the bank, you want to keep the deposit in the bank, you have to pay for that.
Yes.
US economy is presently, it is almost 2 times the interest rate has been raised. 70 basis point has been raised twice. So presently the interest rate in USA is around 3%. Plus there is a exchange involvement. So as of today, 1 year exchange risk is also required to be covered. Now presently if you want to cover a risk of 1 year is around 4% hedging cost. So if you have to hedge, if you have to pay, this is what the government has done a good thing, that taking into account. So hedging cost is not required to be bond. So at least 1 lakh crore rupees you have to pay over a period of 50 years. That is what is called. Nobody knows how many people are going to stay back. But once the the infrastructure is created, we are all going to be a party to it. We will be able to enjoy the benefit of those things. So similar type of projects are happening throughout big cities at least. Now all metro rails, if you find that from what is the funding of this is all funding being done. And one of our minister, Mr. Gadkari, who is very outspoken, he always say, because he gave me to arrange some 10,000 crore rupees in masala bond. Masala bond is you borrow in the foreign currency, pay into Indian currency, pay by Indian currency. This is what masala bond is concept is. Many people have raised, Adanis have raised.
Russian also doing the same thing. Russian also doing the same thing.
Now it is a Russian, with the Russia and India, there has been very old relationship. PLI, when it was there, PLI, when we were taking the wheat, we were making at that particular, when we were importing the wheat from Russia. Russia was one who was allowed after 65, and after our independence, Russia was the only country who supported throughout, including the bonds, including the providing the wheat and other food grains. We were at that particular time we were the net importer for the wheat also. Now today we are the next exporter for the wheat, but now we are supplying to Russia. There was a time then we were all importing. At that particular time the agreement was that we will import the wheat from there. We will make the payment in Indian currency. Still the certain things are still being paid in the Indian currency with Russia. So now today, the today newspaper, it says that bank has been directed that if any other country you work out and open the account in NRO account where the payment can be made through the Indian currency. Vastro account. So if you make the payment through that particular account, all embassies have been authorized to open such type of accounts and make the payment, do the transaction through that particular account, so that you are able to establish yourself that India currency is also becoming stronger. But today, against the dollar, every day we are becoming weak. Today also about 9 paisa has gone down further.
It has reached up to 80.
It is more than that.
No, 79.9.
79.9. So there is 3%, 3 paisa gap, which can only once it has crossed. So this is all going to have the impact. But presently the government of India policy and the Reserve Bank of policy is to a very large extent very liberal. As of today, if you want to do the remittances, what is required is you have to inform to the Reserve Bank of India. There is a specific format under which you inform, no question asked. So as of today, beyond certain things, in almost all the industries liberalized, where you can have 100% FDI. You take any industry, 100% FDI is permitted everywhere now. So to that extent, you get the FDI. There are certain restrictions like in banking side, you cannot get more than 76%. Insurance sector, you cannot have more than 76%. Certain sector is still like defense sector, you cannot have more than 26%. Now it is, I think it is increased to 26% in certain category of defense production also. So now the defense, all these things are already allowed. So liberalization has helped a very large extent. Industry has come up today. You see the any industry today. We are there. See the manufacturing of cars. We were having only 2 types of car. One was ambassador car, which is no more available. Now it has become a vintage car. Your Padmini was one of the car which we were all feeling proud about it. Today it's a number of cars in the road. See, the facility has been made available to you. Now it is up to you to use that facility. So to that extent, India has become one of the destination for investment. Lot of investment has come in the various sectors, including large scale industry, small scale industry. Liberalization has taken place. We must take the advantage. Today, our position in terms of inflation is also under control. 7.5% is absolutely at a particular level where you can tolerate it. But beyond this, probably there could be some problem. If it goes beyond that, your pricing will go up. Probably the purchasing power will get impacted. Ultimately, it is the purchasing power. 1 rupee today you are able to do it. Tomorrow it may become double the rupee. Whether your earning also goes to that extent. This is what the problem is, that in inflation, if it goes beyond certain period, it will impact everybody. Common man will impact, even other people also get impacted. So this is what the inflation work on this. So we can have a discussion on this now. I have explained the